Shame and How to Overcome It by Ayan Farvahar. Shame is the heaviest of the burdens we carry. It is the destroyer of self-love, and the lack of self-love is the destroyer of life. We need to understand the root of shame and set free from it. And the only way to do that is to let go of our self-critical beliefs and embrace our goodness and authenticity. Hi, this is Ayan Farvahar. I'm glad you're here. This channel is about self-realization and honoring our life purpose and meaning. If you're interested in these topics, please subscribe to stay connected. Your support is the foundation of this channel and encourages me to create more content in the future. For more information about myself and my life mentoring practice, please find my bio link in the description below. Today, we want to focus on shame. Shame is the destroyer of life, possibly the worst feeling we can experience. Shame is also the main driver behind many of our self-destructive behaviors. We need to understand shame and make efforts to set free from it. As long as we carry shame, it's virtually impossible to love and trust ourselves, because deep inside, we don't believe we deserve to be loved and trusted. Shame not only affects us emotionally and psychologically, but also spiritually, because shame blocks our connection to our soul and its spiritual light. When we carry shame, we simply feel unworthy of deep and loving spiritual connections. This presentation explains what shame is, how it comes about, and what one can do to overcome it. More specifically, it focuses on the following questions. What is shame? How shame comes about? Why shame is behind our self-destructive behaviors? How our mind tries to minimize shame? Why minimizing shame is not the best strategy to avoid shame? And what we can do to overcome shame. Let's go over these. What is shame? What is shame? Shame has different interpretations and can be experienced differently depending on the event that invites it. As defined here, shame is the feeling that we embody when what we view as our personal flaws or imperfections is witnessed or noticed, either by us or by others. So shame can emerge in two modes, either in our interactions with others or how we are judged or seen by them, or internally when we do something or behave in such a way that invites shame. Shame is directly related to what we perceive as our personal flaws and imperfections, or aspects of our body or personality we perceive as inferior, degrading, or unwanted. These aspects collectively represent a sense of self-image that is negative. For example, if I don't like my body and view it as non-ideal, any remotely negative comment about my body invites a sense of shame because someone is noticing an aspect of me which I view as inferior. The more negative my self-image is, the more shame and dysphoria I experience. How shame comes about. We start being exposed to shame during childhood because many parents use shaming language in their upbringing as a means to control their children's behavior. Parents usually use a critical tone when we behave in a certain way or do something against their will. Because we cannot afford losing the protection and care of our parents, we have no choice but to accept their criticism and feel shame as the result. As a child, our thought process is simple. For example, if for whatever reason I don't receive the unconditional love and care from my parents, then it must be something not right about me, because otherwise they would have loved me. Shame arises when I start believing something is not right about me. For example, I am a bad child and I always do stupid things, and therefore am not worthy of love and care. Unfortunately, this thought process is internalized and stays within us even as adults. The negative self-image that we had to adopt as a child in order to survive and receive the care we needed becomes the way we view ourselves as adults. As adults, our parents, guardians, or teachers are no longer actively present in our lives, but our negative self-image stays within us and is reinforced by our own inner critics and self-critical beliefs. Why shame is behind our self-destructive behaviors. Shame is devastating to our system. Most compulsive and self-destructive behaviors, including suicidal thoughts, are desperate efforts of our mind to find relief from shame. If we go deeper into the root cause of our self-destructive behaviors, there is usually a part of us that holds shame. This shame could be caused by a part of us that feels we are a failure, we are bad, we are stupid, we are worthless, we are not attractive or lovable, we are inconsistent and untrustworthy, and so on. In most cases, these self-critical beliefs are neither justified nor a fair representation of who we are deep inside. But as long as a part of us believes them, they affect our emotional well-being and invite shame. Once shame is taken over, the protective parts of our psyche are activated to find relief at any cost, even through self-destructive behaviors, like overeating, drinking, doing drugs, gambling, binging on food or TV, or worse, projecting angers toward others through unnecessary arguments, road rage, and so on. Let's use an example of how shame leads to self-destructive behavior. Imagine I'm someone who had many failures and setbacks in life, starting from when I was in school. Because of that, a part of me believes I'm incompetent. Now, if a friend or a peer of mine blames me for making a mistake or dropping the ball, the part of me that believes I'm incompetent is witnessed and experiences shame. This shame is hard to handle and creates anxiety. To find relief, I have two options. First option is to find excuses or blame others for what happened. This may divert the attention from me and bring temporary relief. But my conscience now feels guilty for blaming others for what I may have contributed to. The sense of guilt awakens another part of me that believes I'm a bad person. Otherwise, I would not have blamed others. This invites more shame. Now, the only way out is to unplug and numb down by a self-destructive behavior. The second way I could deal with external criticism is to accept it and not find excuses or blame others. In that case, I view shame as justified and well-deserved. Again, the only relief I could now get is to numb down through self-destructive behaviors. As you can see, once shame is present, the protective parts of our psyche usually rely on self-destructive behaviors to find relief from it. How our mind tries to minimize shame. I hope by now you recognize the devastating impact of shame on our mind. The protective parts of our mind are aware of this impact and have strategies to minimize shame, or any situation for that matter, that could expose us to internal or external judgment. It is useful here to highlight some of these strategies so you can be aware of them and better understand the inner workings of your mind. Among these strategies are: don't open up to others, especially about things that invite judgment or shame. When things don't work out, find excuses or blame others. Make people like you at any cost. Be a people pleaser. Do not commit to things. Minimize setting new goals. If you have set a goal, procrastinate and keep things incomplete. Keep your heads down. Don't be in spotlight to avoid external judgment. These strategies may work to minimize shame, but they also require us not to be genuine and authentic, which itself can bring deeper level of shame of not being ourselves. Fortunately, there are better and more authentic ways to liberate from shame. Why minimizing shame is not the best strategy to avoid shame. Minimizing shame by shying away from judgment is not an effective strategy to manage shame, because fear of shame blocks our ability to be real and authentic. Fear of shame and self-control were good strategies to avoid shame when we were little. Unfortunately, now as adults, many of us continue to use fear of shame as a means for self-control. Fear of shame changes our behavior and affects our ability to make authentic decisions. For example, if I have an artistic talent or writing aspirations, but I'm worried of how others view and judge what I create, I try to find excuses not to express my creativity. Of course, we want to be respected and seen in good light by others, but fear of judgment or shame is not the best motivation for that. A better and healthier way is to always act based on our core values, regardless of situation. For example, if being honest and authentic is one of my core values, I will do my best to be honest and authentic in all situations, even if my honesty and authenticity invites judgment. In that case, what is motivating me is not the fear of judgment, but me honoring my core values and what I stand for. Having and honoring your core values is a healthier motivator of your actions than your fear of judgment or shame. Do you have a set of core values? Do you know your guiding principles in life? What human qualities you admire and value the most? Do you embody them in your way of life? If you have never contemplated on these questions, this is a great opportunity to do that. If you need some guidance on how to find your core values and guiding principles, check out one of my older presentations on personal mythology, linked in the description below. What can we do to overcome shame? As we saw so far, shame is directly or subconsciously linked to our negative self-image, or aspects of our body or personality we view as inferior or degrading. So, to truly overcome shame, we must go to its roots. We must become curious about our negative self-image and how it came about. In most cases, Our negative self-image was originated in our childhood and may no longer be valid or a true representation of who we are today. For example, if I failed a test in elementary school and felt shame because of that, my inner child experiencing that shame may believe he is dumb and not as smart as his classmates. No matter how well educated I become later in life, even getting graduate degrees, my inner child still believes otherwise because he is stuck in the past and does not know how far I have come. He still holds shame and experiences emotional pain because of what happened. And the only way to transform his self-critical belief is to connect to him and let him know how he will be smarter in the future, and there is no point for him to hold on to his self-critical belief. This can be done by psychological inner work, for example, using IFS. If you're interested to know how IFS works, see my IFS introduction presentation on this topic, linked in the description below. In closing, remember that virtually all your negative self-image and self-critical beliefs go back to when you were much younger, or to periods in your life you could not be at your best. So maybe it's time to become curious about them, challenge them, and check if they still have merits to hold on to. Your self-critical beliefs block your ability to notice your goodness, your authentic beauty, and your talents. They have brought you shame for many years and separated you from your soul and the light within you. Embrace your body, which has been gifted to you by Mother Nature, your beauty that is imagined by the Divine Creator, and the inner wisdom of your heart. Remember, whatever makes you different from others is also what makes you unique and authentic. So embrace your whole being, heal your past, declare and honor your core values, set free from shame, and live an honorable and inspiring life. A life that is immune to all judgments. If you have found this presentation inspiring, please like and share it with your like-minded friends. Please subscribe to my channel and share your thoughts and comments. For more information about myself and my life mentoring practice, please find my bio link in the description below. Blessings.